back to reloading journey. Excuse me. First things first, I just want to say my videos, I know this is a long time between the last two, and they're going to be a little slow here probably for the next month. Kind of short notice, we just decided to move back from Florida back to Las Vegas. So we're moving 2 households back. So it's a lot of packing, trying to get rid of stuff and get ready for the move. So I'm going to try to get some more videos out. I'm just going to have to see how it goes with the move and then how quick I can get set back up in my house in Vegas. With that being said, today we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a little comparison between the Mighty Armory Gold Match FL TNT 9mm Luger sizing die and the Lyman Stainless Pro Carbide sizing die. So I've been happy with, my first one was the Lyman. I got it, I bought my first set of dies, I bought in a full set. That was the first one I started with when I was on my Impress single stage. I was happy with it. I did have an issue with it. This is the original one that came with it, and the carbide insert. We'll talk about that here in a minute or in a bit. Kept pulling out of it. I reached out to Lyman, and they had no problem. It was an issue I guess they were having with a batch of them or whatever. They sent me out a brand new one. No questions asked. It took a little while, but they got it out to me. So now I'm using this as my decapping die. I just kept the sizing part of it out and used it on my AP press for my decapping die. It has the spring loaded, and I love it. It works great for that. So like I said, I started with this one. When I got to the X10 and started doing the, pumping out rounds a lot faster, and I got into where I was starting to check my case sizing and stuff like that. I seem to have some, and again, remember, I'm new to all this. I may not have had it completely set up correctly in there, but I was having some that weren't going in my sizing block real well, and I was having to put them aside, especially once I started loading for the competitions for 2 different guns, making sure that, whatever I put in my gun, I want to make sure it's going to run. I'll get a little more into that here in a second, but right now I'm just going to look at the dies, look at the differences, kind of go over the prices. Bring it over here. This is the Mighty Armory. It's a good looking die. One thing I like is if you look at the carbide tip on it, you got, this is full thickness here, and then it tapers down from in there, but it goes, it's hard to look inside, but you can tell inside it sizes the full body of the case. It actually goes down a little bit past where the case would actually stop. It's just a good looking die. The price on them right now is $119.95. It says they're on sale as of the date of this video. The Lyman die, very well made, good looking die. Also, one thing I will say is the if you can see that seam around there, the carbide tip or sizer is just pressed in, and it's real thin right there. And it's not, this is the carbide that's in there. It's not full size of the case. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but it's only going to size that top portion or that bottom portion to where the other one will size it all. So just something to think about. They both have decappers, and they're both the spring-loaded flicking one. They both work really well. I haven't really used the Mighty die for it much yet, but Mighty die has a lot bigger spring compared to the Lyman one. And then their decapping setup here is a little different. Now, the Mighty Armory has these replaceable tips, whereas the Lyman has the full length pin. They're both the replaceable tips. One thing nice about the Mighty Armory, you're looking at about $4 or $3.99 to replace them, but that you can replace them with 3 different sizes. So you can get the small ones for like the Bourdain, for like decapping the Norma brass. I always just put them aside, but you could get the smaller ones. They've got the normal size pin, the 0.74, and then for BMG 50, they've got a 0.10. So they've got 3 different sizes you can get. I haven't seen different sizes in Lyman. The Lymans are $5.49, so $1.50 more. I don't know that it really makes a difference in any performance or anything. For some reason, I just like this better. But both go together real easy. I say that. It's kind of hard to get that started. You got to push and turn at the same time and then catch the teeth. But come on. Hold on. There it goes. So, what I'm going to do first is go ahead and just put them both on the press. I've got about 40 rounds here, cases that aren't decapped. I'm going to go ahead and put them in there and decap 20 with each one. Just see, I'm sure they'll both work great. I usually do my decapping on my AP press, so most of what I run through here is already decapped. And I use the Lyman on it, and it works great. I did for a bit was using and you can see the difference in quality between just their standard generic decapping die for Lyman and the Pro one. Just looks like a little better quality metal, really, a little better machined. And this one is not spring loaded. And at least for on the AP press, it was a nightmare, because a lot of times it'd push the primer in and then pull it back into the case a little bit, and it'd get stuck and jammed up. This thing just works great, man. With that little flick on there, you can hear the pins pop, or the primers pop out. I love it. So I'm going to see how they both run on the X10, and I'll go ahead and set the camera up, and we'll look at that. All right, well, it looks like in the decapping, they both, I knew they would, they both performed equally good. The Mighty Armory gives you a little more struggle. I think it's a little bit tighter on the sizing. We will see that up next, but you can see there was a little bit more pop to it. But as far as the decapping goes, they both performed the same. Never had an issue. One not decapping. It ran perfect. Shout out to Bragging Rights on the primer catch. Put up a little video here. Thing works beautiful, rather than that silly tube that comes with it. Real nice, works real well. Catches them. When you're done, just pull the tray out, dump it, slide the tray back in, and you're good to go. So thanks again, Randall, over there at Bragging Rights. I'll put up a link to the primer catch there, and go pick yourself up one. Next, we're going to go ahead and try sizing. Now, I'll do a zoom in on this, not my face, but you can see what I did is the brass I'm using is capital cases, and it's random range brass, random head stamps, one shot out of who knows how many different guns. So as you can see, I've got some that get stuck early on, some that go in deeper. Just a mix of 100 of them there. I'm going to go ahead and run 50 through the Lyman sizer, 50 through the Mighty Armory, and then we'll drop them back in here and see which one, see if they drop them in, if they go seat all the way, which one did better. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish loading all the way, because it'll show. That's one thing I'm wondering with the Lyman. It doesn't size the body all the way down. It's going to get your bottom half right, but maybe not the top. Whereas the Mighty Armory has that sleeve that covers the whole case. Is it going to give you a better seat on your bullet? Is it going to size the case better and give you a better seat? Because that little ridge, a lot of people complain about, especially on 9mm, the kind of the Coke bottle, and you got to remember that case, the crimp isn't what holds your bullet in from being pushed in. Whenever it's coming, whenever your slide goes back and hits that bullet and it hits that ramp and gets pushed in, if it's not held in there tight, it can be pushed back, a few thousandths of an inch. Well, now you're changing your depth, and you're going to have a little bit hotter load. So that's why you get that little bit of that Coke bottling. Is it's actually that casing spreading out underneath that's holding that bullet. So if you get a better sizing throughout the whole thing and up there at the top, it's going to push back and hold that bullet in a little bit better, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and run them through that. We'll take a look at them. I'm going to drop each 50 in here and see if they, see which one did better there. And then I'm going to load them all. The 50 that size with the Lyman, we'll load those. And then the 50 that I size with the Mighty Armory, I'm going to go load those and see which one does better seating, if there's any difference at all. So let's go ahead and get on to that. All right, here we are back again. We've ran them all through the sizing dies. Mighty Armory, Lyman. Now I'm going to run them through the Armanov ammo checker. This thing has been great. It's not cheap. I think it was like 170 bucks. Before I post this, I'll go ahead and find it and post a picture of it and a link to it. But when I first started reloading, this was what I got. It's a Lyman and just a single checker. It was great, but I would check one out of every 100 rounds, 200 rounds, just to make sure that they were doing good. Once I got into loading for the USPSA matches and stuff like that for the guns, I wanted to make sure that my rounds were as perfect as I could get them. So then I started doing I got this one, it was 20. This one was good. One thing I didn't like is I did find sometimes I would put a round in this hole and then put it in this hole, and it would not fit. This hole would drop in good, this hole wouldn't. Sometimes if I took it there and just turned the round a little bit, just spun it, it would drop in, which tells me the holes aren't perfectly circle. It was all right, but this one I do know is a little bit tighter than the Lyman. There would be some that would drop in this and work perfect and wouldn't work in this one, which is one thing that you want to look for whenever you get it. Test it with your barrel, with your gun. You want to have a checker that is tighter than the barrel that you're shooting. So anything that drops in here, you hear that good tink. It drops in, you turn it over, it drops right out. You know that that's going to run in your gun. You're good to go. If it gets stuck a little bit, now I always check, put them all in here, fill them, see if they're all good. I can check my primers, see if they're all good, and then I put it on, put the lid on, flip it over, pick it up. Anything that comes out I know is good. It's perfect. Anything that stays in here, it might be flush, but it's sticking a little bit, I'll go ahead and put aside and just run for practice. Anything that comes out of here I know is good, and I can run it for a match. So I'm going to go ahead and put all these through this, and then I'll come back and we'll see. I'm going to do the Mighty Armory first, and we'll see how they do. So. All right, that's all 50. You can hear when they drop in. If they go in good, you'll hear them tink. If they don't make a noise, that means that something slowed them down. They bound. All of these sounded really good. I can't feel anything raised up. Now's the real test. Put the lid on, flip it, 100% came out. So that's what I want. That means that I'm not, you know, it's sizing them down. I'm not having any that are going to give me an issue. I'm not having any that my gun just won't shoot. So Mighty Armory, 100%. Let's check the Lyman. All the Lymans are in. I can already feel some. I can hear some. I can feel some that are sticking up here. I'll go ahead and push them all down. I can feel some lifted ones. Let's see how it did. All right, as you can see, I got some left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So out of 50, I wound up with 8. So about 4%, if my math is right, which could be wrong. So that right there puts the Mighty Armory in the lead. I gotta say, I wasn't 100% sure what the outcome would be, because since I got the Mighty Armory one, I just put both sizing dies in my truss to where it was getting sized twice. It was running through both of them, and I did see an improvement once I did that. But I did adjust them a little bit different. That's why I said at the beginning, you know, I may not have had the die set correctly. This time I went through and I set them a little bit different, made them both equal to where they have as much pressure, and I did see a big improvement on how many rounds I was having that came out in, you know, drop in, drop right out. So I wasn't sure if it was just my adjustment of the Lyman was better now then, or the Mighty helped. It appears from what I'm seeing right now that it was the Mighty Armory die that made the difference. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw them all in the press, go ahead and add primers, powders, bullet, and finish them up, and then we'll drop them in here again and see how they finish out. I think that we've already kind of shown that the Mighty Armory is a step above, but let's see what we get. Okay, so here we are, we're back. I went ahead and ran, loaded the 50 from Mighty Armory and the 50 from the Lyman. First off, I want to say I was wrong on my math. It was, the Lyman had 16% that didn't fit right, didn't size right, not 4%. I halved when I should have doubled. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and take these. Now they're fully loaded. I'm gonna go ahead and drop them into the checker and see how they do now. So let's do it. All 50 are in, and it seems I've got one high one here. Let me look. Sometimes the case will rip out or something and cause, nope, it's just one that went haywire. So now the test is, I'll give that a little push. That one. So 99% of them came out just exactly how I want them. Had one outlier, and it looks like, I don't know if you can tell on that. Let me focus in on that. And every once in a while I see them like this. If you look, you've got the kind of the Coke bottle there, real, and then the other side is smooth. So it's like the bullet didn't seat even in it. It went in at an angle. Maybe I didn't have it set right and it pushed in at an angle. because one side of this is bulged out, one side is flat, but we'll still call it 99% came out for the Mighty Armory. That's pretty damn good. Now, let's check the Lyman. All right, I don't know if you can see that. Got quite a few that are sticking up there. I'm going to go ahead and push them all in. Go ahead and do the flip. Yep. So we started with 8 that wouldn't go before. After loading, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21. That's almost 50%. You know, a couple of these sat up high, like the one in the Mighty Armory. We'll give it the same thing. I mean, we'll still count it like we did the Mighty Armory, but, you know, that's going to happen. That's 2 that way. These ones that sit real high, that's just got like a weird bulge in it. The bulge is at the bottom, and but they were all ran through the machine exactly the same. I set it up. I don't have the sizing dies in it. I just have all the other dies, left the sizing dies out because we already sized them. Just ran them through, ran the Lyman through first, dumped in the Mighty Armory, ran those through. So there was nothing changed in the machine. So I'm going to say the Mighty Armory is the clear winner. Definitely worth the extra, what was it, 10 bucks or something. Like I said, I had seen a difference once I put it in, but whenever I got it and put it in, I adjusted everything, so I wasn't 100% sure. So this was kind of a test for me and for you guys at the same time. So almost 25%, or almost 50%. So what, like 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 42%. The worst of this. Yeah, 42% didn't go right. 48% it did. So, and the Lyman or the Mighty Armory was 99%. Had one outlier out of 100, out of 50. So that's pretty damn good. So go out, pick up your Mighty Armory sizing dies. You won't be disappointed. They do have other dies. Check out their website. I'll put a link to it in the YouTube channel. And I'm going to say it's the clear winner. Oh, and just an outlier. I'm going to put this in before my outro. I already did my outro, but I came back to say this. Now, those ones that didn't, you know, if you're just plinking, if you're just going out and shooting, 99% of those that stuck in here will still run through your gun. You might have an issue with one sticking or something. If you're just, I wouldn't throw them out. The ones that stick up, if they stick up real high, it's not worth it. But, you know, most of those went in. More than likely, they're still going to run through your gun. I just wouldn't use those for my matches. So, with that being said, I'd much rather load and have every round I have come out, whether I use it for matches or not, be match ready. Just like today, I've got a match today. I haven't had time to, because usually I load for our matches for both guns and have, you know, before every match I load, but I haven't had time with the move and everything. So I had to go through my bulk, and I dropped in here and had no problem finding a couple hundred rounds through that 800 rounds I have that dropped out perfect and I could run. Where had I been using the Lyman alone, who knows, I may not have had those. All my whole bulk may have been because usually I load, check in here, everything to match. Anything that doesn't go goes into my bulk. So, and then anything over that 100 I need or whatever goes into the bulk. So anyways, here's my outro. All right, thanks for hanging out. Subscribe, like, all that stuff, and keep in mind, like I said, I'm going to be moving here. So this month's going to be kind of hard to get out videos. This one was kind of long-winded, or kind of a long one for me to shoot, especially when I had some camera issues. I shot a whole section and didn't film part of it, but I'm gonna have to redo just the anyways. Just I will have more coming out once I get back in Vegas and get everything going. So it was good hanging out with you guys again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.